So, I think I know. Yeah, I just didn't remember that.
Really?
I listened to it.
Okay.
Oh.
So, this is, because most of the things that you come across are not going to be exactly one standard deviation above the mean or exactly two standard deviations. It's going to be like in the middle, you got decimals. So, we got to figure out how to do that. So, your calculator basically does it. So, first of all, I want you to read through these and realize that they're all asking the exact same question. Area, proportion, probability, percents, all tell you the same thing. You might see it written like this. Probability Z is less than 1.15. Those are all the same. Area under, proportion less than, probability of that or less, percent less than or equal, and that's just another way to write the same thing. So if I have this one here, what proportion of values lies under Z equals negative 1.25? You're not going to have to sketch this every time. You don't even have to sketch this if you don't want to. I'm just kind of doing it for a visual to show you. So Z, that's the mean. What's the Z-score of the mean? 0. Because your 0 standard deviations above or below. That's just Z equals 0. Z equals negative 1.25. Is that to the left of the mean or to the right of the mean? To the left, it's negative. So it's somewhere over here. We got Z equals negative 1.25. What proportion of the values? So we're looking for this region here. It's the area of this region. It's the percent of the whole thing that's filled in. It's the proportion. It's the probability. They're all the same thing. What you're going to do on your calculator, write down this, and then I'll show you on your calculator how to do it. It's called normal CDF. It's a cumulative distribution function. So what that's going to do is add up all the areas between the two numbers that I give it. And you're just going to go negative 1.25, comma, no, sorry, what number is way over here, even over here, that went forever, what number is way over there? Yeah, so this over here is like Z equals negative 99999. Over here is Z equals 99999. So we're talking like, if I put it this way, we're like in the parking lot. And then let's do this room. I don't know if it's Duke or Duke. Yeah, and it's been like too long that I can't ask her. So what I want to do is go from the low to the high, or the left to the right. So if I told you to describe this area, what Z-score is on the left of this area? Is the negative 99999, because we would go like all the way to the left-hand tail. And then the right-hand side of this area is the negative 1.25. So you would type in negative 999, comma, negative 1.25. That will tell you this area, this percentage. They're the same thing. So let's look at your calculator. So it's in distributions, which is right here. So I can say second distributions, you can say second bars, everyone says that different. But you want to get to that menu, so it's like shift bars. We will not ever use normal PDF, so we're skipping down to normal CDF. I've done one thing, Cummings. Second bars. Wait, turn it on. Should we go back that far? I'm not just making fun of you. That's like a thing that happens all the time. So, normal CDF. And I know some of you guys, like, it just opens a parenthesis and that's it, right? And some of you see this menu. If you see this menu, you're not going to change the 0 and the 1. Just leave it. And I'm going to type in negative 999, comma, negative 1.25. If you have the other kind, just wait a second. And then I just go down and hit paste. And if you have the other kinds, you would just type in, you don't need the 0 and the 1. You would type that in. You would type in negative 999, comma, negative 1.25. It's like the left-hand side to the right-hand side. If you hit enter, you should get that, hopefully. The proportion of values is 0.1056. If you're not sure about rounding, put more decimal places rather than less. It's better to err on the side of too many decimals than not enough. Is anybody not getting that? Or like want me to run through how to?
When I hit enter on mine, it says error.
So you deleted like the 0 and the 1. Then you shouldn't touch it. Go back to doing that. Wait there. Did you put the minus sign or the negative sign? And it gets annoyed about it. Like that should work, but anybody else? Didn't work or you got an issue with it? Usually there's like that. Alright, now we're gonna do the next one. I do not need to put this in my calculator. I'm going to because that's what we're trying to practice. My parents, if anybody tell me the answer right now for this one. 10.56. The whole thing's symmetric. So if I ask you for the percent below the z-score of negative 1.25, that's going to be the same as the percent above a z-score of 1.25. So it is symmetric. If I were going to type in the normal CDF, I would do normal CDF, and then I want the left or the lower, and the right and the upper. So if I want this area, what's my left-hand z-score? It's this. It's the 1.25. And what's the right-hand z-score? 9999999. So go ahead and type it in, and you just to kind of convince yourself that you should and you will get the exact same thing. But again, if you got a calculator, just let me know. There's usually a ton, so don't be afraid of it. Bring it up. All right. So the next one. So now we're not doing like above or below. We're doing in between. So I've got my mean here. Z-score of negative 1.64. Over there. Z-score of 2.33. Somewhere over there. And again, you don't have to sketch these. I'm just doing it to try to connect, like for learning purposes. It doesn't hurt to sketch them, but eventually you're going to be like, this is not worth my time. So we do the same thing. We're going to do normal CDF. I want the lower slash left-hand number, comma, the upper slash right-hand number. So what's my lower bound? Negative 1.64, comma, my upper bound is the 2.33. So go ahead and type that in. I get 0.9396, somewhere around there. Which makes sense. Like that's taking up like most of the graph, right? Like pretty darn near all of it. So we got a number pretty darn near 1. And then this last one, I just want to show you there's two ways you could do this. So they're saying above 1.34, so that bit there. And below negative 2.78. So I can find this one. So I just want you to know there's two ways to do it. One is I can find this one. What would my left and right be for this one? Negative 999 to negative 2.78. And I can do this one by going 1.34 to 9999 and then just add them up. Is there another way I can do it? Sanders, can you tell me?
It's you find what the answer would be between the two and then take 100 minus that.
Yeah, so you can do either, whichever makes sense. If you want, like, to me, what I get 0.907 in the middle. So that's like between those two numbers, but I'm basically asking what's not between those two numbers. So you would do 1 minus 0.907. Questions on those? Give me a second. I gotta think about what we're doing. All right, try number 1. I don't think you know how to do that completely accurately yet, but you know how to get close. And then I'll do 2, 3, and 4. We have to talk about a little bit. That's 1 we probably have to talk about a little bit. So 95% is kind of like a clue to me. It kind of sets off alarms. Whenever I hear 68, 95, or 99.7, I'm kind of thinking back to that empirical rule. So 95% was the data that was within how many standard deviations? 2. So all I'm going to do is, so that's my mean, that's my standard deviation. So I'm going to find out where 2 standard deviations below the mean is. I'm going to find out where 2 standard deviations above the mean is, and I know that should contain 95% of the data. So I'm just doing 27.21 minus 2 times 7.93. Gives me 11.35. And the same thing the other direction. Gives me 43.07. And then I know that within 2 standard deviations contains 95%. And this is approximate. We don't know how to do it exactly yet, but it's pretty darn close. Like close enough that on a multiple choice they couldn't really even make it 2 different answers. Does that make sense? So if I said within 1 standard deviation, or if I said, if I said the middle 68%, what would you do? You go within 1 standard deviation. Okay, second one. So we got a couple things to talk about here. One is percentile. What does percentile mean? Percent at or below. So if I were to sketch this, 27.21 is the mean. Well, they're only spending $10. And I want to know the percent at or below that. So which direction am I going to shade? below, so that's the left, right? Did you say left or below? It's the same thing. I'm just like not quite sure how you guys think about it, left or below. But I want to shade over there because percentile is always, you know, if you're in the 99th percentile, you would shade in all of that because you're better than all of that. Here we're just above those. So now we can type this into the calculator a little bit easier way. I don't have to find the z-score. So when I know the z-score, I just put the z-score in the z-score. If I don't know the z-score, I can calculate it, but that's kind of a pain. I can also tell the calculator the mean and the standard deviation. And you want to label those also. On the AP test, they need to know that you know what those are. So on multiple choice, obviously, no one looks, no one cares, doesn't matter. But on a free response, you would want to put a label there. And I'm going to use the actual numbers. So instead of z-scores, because I'm not using z-scores, I'm going to use raw numbers. Tell the calculator the mean and standard deviation, and it's going to figure out the z-score for me and do all the calculations. So what number is way over here on the number line? That's the left-hand boundary, right? What's the right-hand boundary of this little shaded area? It's 10. And then I'm telling the calculator the mean and standard deviation to make it figure out the z-score instead of me doing it. So now I go back to calculator. And if you get the parentheses kind, you literally just type, just like I have here. You type exactly, don't put the labels, obviously, right? But you just go -99, comma 10, comma, and you type it in. If you have this kind, you put in your lower and your upper bound, and then you're telling the calculator, hey, I didn't find the z-scores. I want you to do it. I'm too lazy and I might screw it up. You won't. So I get like 15 percentile, or 0.0, no, that's like the 1.5 percentile. So 0.015. 1.5%. And just like always make sure your answer kind of makes sense. This is pretty far to the left, that's a pretty small area, that's a pretty small number, that makes sense. If you did this backwards, you would have gotten like 98.5. Does that look like 98.5% of the data is below that? It doesn't, so just kind of do like a little common sense check. Alright, number 3. Person spends $40. She is in the top blank percent of spending. So this is phrased differently than percentile. It's phrased the opposite of percentile. You know, if you are in the 95th percentile, you are actually in the top 5%. If you're in the 98th percentile, you're in the top 2%. So the top is telling you what's above you. So this is kind of opposite of the other ones. So 27.21 is the mean. This person's spending 40, and I want to know the percent above. I'm saying the top, whatever. Try it. Label, mean standard deviation. So I get like 5.3%. Does that make sense what I did? You guys get the same? Let's just make it 5% just for the sake of talking about it. If you were in the top 5%, you are in the blank percentile. 95th, right? So just realize those are like opposites. And then number 4, we need a little bit of extra information here. Let's let's say that on this typical Saturday they had 1,000 people. And I want to know how many spent between 20 and 30. So I'm going to find the percent, the proportion, whatever you want to call that. Let's start there. So I'm going to go normal CDF. I left room for a graph this time, sorry. What's the lower bound? 20, upper bound? 30. And are those raw scores or z-scores? They're raw scores. They're not z-scores. So I need to tell the calculator the mean and standard deviation to be like, hey, you got to figure out the z-scores. Put those in. If it's multiple choice, if it's free response, I'm labeling. So go ahead and try that. I get 0.456 approximately. Yeah, you can say. Is that the answer to the question? Not. Think about the thing I had to tell you before we start the problem. This doesn't say what percent of people. It says how many people. That's the percent. But how many people did I tell you there were? 1,000. So you got to do 0.456 times 1,000. That would be 456 people. So they throw that in. I think they know you get used to this percent. They're like, okay, how many? You just got to watch out for those little twists. All right. Questions on those four? Trying to think if we should go backwards today also or not. What? You want to do Khan Academy, you're saying? That's not what we're doing. It's freaking hot in here. What's the average height of male students? 5'10". That's Mr. Packer. Is that text big enough for people in the back? Okay. Do you mean my height? Yeah. At the top of my head? That was so weird.
I meant like, do you know it like off the top? Just off the top.
Do I know how tall I am? Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I mean, I don't know how many. Well, I guess I could just.
It's not like rocket
Tell me how.
science.
About 5.
All right, try these. Mr. Davis doesn't make sense because I said male students. Just pretend I'm a student. So that's essentially the 4 questions we just did, just practicing again with like a different. That's why I get some reps before we move on. Wait, how'd you do that?
Because 60
Go
plus
from D
12.
to H.
Because 60 plus 12 is 72. 60 plus 12 is 72. Plus the 6.
There's a bunch of ants in here. I don't know if that's gonna be a problem. I've just seen them like crawl around.
From 60 to 72.
And see them running around. And every now and then when I pick it up, it just moves all over. I'm just constantly scrolling.
Plus the 6.
That's an app. It's like a 1084 app. Really? That's pretty cool. You can use it on a test. I like that. It's cool.
I know. I never just
Oh, great. Well,
so that you can
Well, writing it down allows you to go back and look at it. But not writing it down is faster. That's a choice.
okay.
No, in fact, 65. That is 55.
I don't even think he's that tall, actually. Who in here is 5'5"? Anybody 5'5"? Are you taller than Mr. Packard?
yeah.
Like a couple inches?
He's like 5.
He's like 5'3", yeah. You are not taller than Mr. Packard. How tall are you? 5'1"? Really? He's not 4'11". You? I think I feel.
It's crazy. Like I could literally like.
68.
Like you know when you like throw a baby up in the air.
Oh, I.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's born not 60.
And then I'm just standing there.
was like headbutting like his dad. Hey, remember when I made you breakfast this morning? Remember I burned you? Just mention it.
Did I shoot something up or you have a question? So that means he is taller than 4 percentile. So mine says like top whatever. My percentile is like 9.
Yeah, Kara.
What did you just say? Who? I thought you said, oh, who's this?
Wait, are you about to start?
I don't have to be.
Okay, ready? You want to hear how it tripped out?
I thought you had like an actual question.
No.
Okay. So, just to talk through these, middle 68%, we will learn how to do this like precisely on Monday. This thing called, I give you the data or the z-score, so like I'm telling you the height, I'm telling you how much money was spent in the store, and we're going to percentile. So we're finding a percentage, or the percentile, which is percent below, or the top, whatever percent. We're going from data to a percent. This is what I was trying to figure out if we we're going to jam both these in today, but I don't think that would have been great. So Monday, I'll give you the percentile, and we'll go backwards, and so I'll be like, Mr. Davis is the 99th percentile. What is his height? So you're going to go backwards. So normal CDF is what we're doing today. That's going forwards, and then inverse norm is what we'll do on Monday. That's going backwards. So you'll be able to do this with inverse norm, like more precisely, but it's really close. 68% is within one standard deviation, so I just took the 70, went one standard deviation below, one standard deviation above, and so it's between 67 and 73. Mr. Packard is 65 inches, which is generous. What percentile is he in? So remember, percentile is below. So I want to be, so my left bound is negative 999 up to 65. So that's the tail left part. And then I didn't want to figure out the z-score, so I told the calculator the mean and standard deviation so that it would figure out the z-scores. And then I get that answer. 78 inches tall. I'm not asking the percentile. I'm asking the top whatever percent. So it should be a really small number because it's not like a huge percentage of people that are taller than me. So 78, comma 99999. Again, tell the calculator the mean and standard deviation. So I'm in the top, like, I don't know if it's accurate, I just made up the numbers, but 0.38%. What percentile am I? Approximately. 99.62% would be, that's the other direction. And then how many, so just watching out for that, are between 68 and 72. So I'm just typing in the low bound, the upper bound, the mean and standard deviation, and I get this percentile. It's very common that I see that as an answer on the test. If you're on the AP test, they're for sure going to put that as an option. But I'm saying how many, so that's why I told you there were 300 male students. So you take the percentile times 300, and I don't know what a half a student is, but that's the number we get. Questions on anything up there? Okay, you can do Khan, you can do the home. There's 1.5 homework that you can start now. There's Khan that you can start now. So do something. Say that all again.
Do all the concepts.
Yeah, do all of the Khan.
And then do 1, 2, 1. Do all the homework.
The whole packet and all of them.
All in all, yes.
That's really awesome.
Like a Sunday bar.
Yeah.
Do you post the answers to the one? When you're checking and see if you have to or not,
I thought I put them on, I didn't.
I took 2 days days ago. So you might have like.
No, I didn't do it there. Okay, I'll do it.